Do you see family programming coming back? After all this reality.
Family programming once ruled TV, showing real-life struggles and love that audiences connected with deeply. But after years dominated by reality shows and fast-paced dramas, many wonder if those heartfelt stories will ever return. John Amos, who played the father on Good Times, didn't think so, and his experience on the show reveals why. Behind the laughter and memorable characters, Good Times was marked by creative battles and fights for authentic representation. What happened behind the scenes changed the show and the lives of its cast in ways fans never expected. This story isn't just about TV. It's about truth, identity, and the cost of standing up for what's real. Good Times premiered in 1974 as one of the first sitcoms to center on a Black family living in Chicago's housing projects. It broke new ground by blending humor with honest depictions of poverty, racism, and family struggles, offering a rare and powerful glimpse into Black life on mainstream television. The Evans family quickly became beloved characters, representing strength and resilience in the face of hardship. The show balanced serious social issues with comedy, thanks to its talented cast led by John Amos and Esther Rolle. Their portrayals gave depth to the characters, making the family feel real and relatable. For many viewers, especially Black audiences, Good Times was more than entertainment. It was a source of pride and representation that hadn't been seen before. Beyond its immediate success, Good Times helped pave the way for future Black-led shows, challenging Hollywood's narrow portrayals. But while it was celebrated on screen, behind the scenes there were growing tensions that threatened the show's future. Tensions rooted in creative control and the fight for authentic storytelling. While Good Times was a hit with viewers, behind the scenes it was anything but smooth. John Amos, who played the family patriarch James Evans, clashed repeatedly with the show's producers and writers over how the family was portrayed. He felt the scripts leaned too heavily on stereotypes, especially in how his character and others were written. Early on, the writing team was mostly white, and Amos believed they missed the mark when trying to capture authentic Black family life. Amos pushed hard for more realistic storytelling that honored the struggles and dignity of Black families, but his demands weren't always welcome. His outspoken nature and refusal to accept the comedic treatment of serious issues put him at odds with Norman Lear, the show's developer. This conflict ultimately led to Amos being fired, a decision that shocked fans and shook up the show's dynamic. The creative tensions didn't end with Amos's departure. His on-screen wife, Esther Rolle, shared similar frustrations about the show's direction, especially the way their oldest son, JJ, was turned into a comic relief character, rather than a nuanced part of the family. These behind-the-scenes battles would shape not just the fate of Good Times, but also set the stage for future conversations about representation in television. Esther Rolle, who played Florida Evans, was as passionate about authentic representation as John Amos. She insisted the show include a strong father figure, which led to the introduction of James Evans, pushing back against early plans to have a single-parent household. Rolle wanted the family portrayed with dignity and depth, reflecting the reality she believed was important for viewers to see. However, as the show progressed, Rolle grew frustrated with the way her character's son, JJ, became a source of crude humor and negative stereotypes. She openly criticized the writers for turning JJ into a caricature, someone who stood on street corners and acted foolishly, which she felt sent a harmful message to Black children watching at home. Her refusal to accept this portrayal made her a vocal advocate for better storytelling. Her fight wasn't just about one character. It was about the show's responsibility to uplift its audience and avoid perpetuating damaging images. While her efforts helped raise awareness, Rolle's stand also caused friction with producers, contributing to the shifting dynamics that would eventually change the show's course. After John Amos was fired, Good Times took a sharp turn. The storyline shifted to focus on the Evans family struggling without their strong patriarch, James Evans. His character's sudden death in a car accident left the family to fend for themselves, changing the tone and dynamic of the show. Ratings began to slip as fans felt the heart of the series was missing. Esther Rolle eventually left the show too, though her exit was handled more gently by having Florida remarry and move away with the children. The show attempted to recover by bringing Rolle back for the final season, with promises of better storylines and a return to its core family values. Despite these efforts, the damage had been done, and the series was canceled after its 6th season. The final episodes aim to give the characters a hopeful ending. JJ finally breaks through as an artist, Michael heads off to college, and the family begins to find new stability. But for many fans, the show's decline highlighted the challenges of balancing creative vision with network demands, and the difficulty of maintaining authenticity in a changing TV landscape. Nearly 50 years. After Good Times first aired, the cast's journeys reflect both the show's impact and their own resilience. John Amos went on to earn an Emmy nomination for Roots and continued acting in films like Coming to America. Though he stepped away from Good Times early, his legacy as a trailblazer for authentic Black storytelling remains strong. Esther Rolle continued acting and earned critical acclaim, including an Emmy win. She remained a powerful advocate for positive representation until her passing in 1998. Meanwhile, Jimmy Walker, who played JJ, returned to his stand-up roots, touring the country with his comedy for decades after the show ended. Other cast members, like Bernadette Stanis and Ralph Carter, pursued varied careers in acting and the arts, while Janet Jackson made her own mark in music and television. Their stories highlight how Good Times launched careers and left a lasting cultural footprint, reminding us why the show still resonates today. Good Times remains a landmark in television history, not just for its groundbreaking portrayal of a Black family, but for the real struggles behind the scenes that shaped its story. Despite creative battles and cast departures, the show's legacy lives on through its impact on representation and the careers it launched. It's a reminder that authentic storytelling matters, even when the cost is high.